and welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. Yes, this is me, Kemi Akiode Adebayo, aka Mama K. In today's program, we're going to be celebrating women in South Africa, and this is a part one. So as part of the International Women's Day, which is celebrated annually, globally, on the 8th of March, and this is a United Nations Day. And the theme for this year is Break the Bias, which we're hoping we're getting all these women, to do to break the bias within their community and organizations. So this was a pre-recorded conversations that I had with these three amazing, extraordinary women who are doing so much, to challenge the status quo and to help break the bias and to help improve gender equality within the community, their organizations, and the field, that they work in. So the first person I kind of had the talk with that we're featuring is Mrs. Caroline Peters. She's the founder director for Callas Community Project, Callas Foundation. They're based in Athlone, Cape Town, South Africa, and they do a lot of work, amazing work, trying to raise awareness of gender-based violence and at the same time helping with food security. They've provided food, during COVID to I don't even know the numbers, just a tons of people. So they do a lot of work, within their foundation. So in this chat, I basically was asking my dear sister, friend, Caroline, to share a journey, in terms of work. So she gave us a view, basically about how she started work. She was overqualified for her work, but, she was then employed, and since then she's been making a name for herself. Then she shared with us some of what they do within the gender-based violence kind of area of work, which is not an easy one, to do. Then I was blessed as well with this sister and friend who we call Ajoke, now from Nigeria. She's South African as well. And we named her Ajoke, which is a name in Yoruba from Nigeria. Her name is Nomi, and she is AKA known as the BlackQueen Africa. And she's an actor, director, producer, singer, teacher. She wears so many hats. The mother, supporting her children, and a lot of other things that she does. Motivational speaker, a judge, at talent shows, and a TV presenter as well herself. She does so many things within, her work, and she shared as well her work, that she does, and as well her passion, of, raising awareness more of people with disability, particularly autism. So you will hear some of what she does. She's a teacher, for special needs children, and she does a lot of work within the Black community in the township, trying to help young girls, young boys as well, to get their voice heard and to help them within the field of arts generally, whether be it's play, drama, poet, singing. Yeah, Nomi BlackQueen is the one. And last but not the least, another sister, and I love her so much. This is Mrs. Wilma Piek. She's the Social Development Manager for VRCID, which is the Voortrekker Road Corridor Improvement District, and they're based in Bellville, and they do a lot of work to ensure safety, security, and so on are maintained in the Voortrekker Road area, and they do even way beyond, that, where they help within works that has to do with social issues, the homeless, the prostitutes, and so on. So they help, get their voice heard and make a mark, within that. So this conversation with Wilma was where she shared with us as well what the VRCID is about and what they do, and the fact that, they work in collaboration, with others, like MESS, Bold Moves has worked with them as well, the GTP, which is the Greater Tigerbird Partnership. MES is Mold, Empower, Serve. You know, does so much as well in the Bellville, Paru, and that area. So you have to just watch this. Enjoy. Career-wise, where were you working? You said corporate world.
Yes, so in the corporate world, my last corporate job was with Afrika Consultants. And then I worked in manufacturing, then I worked in life skills at the time. It's a big consulting firm I used to work for. And my last job was for the Cape Argus. And, you know, so after that, so that was the last corporate job. And then from there, I went, I must tell you, and I sat at my desk one day, and you know, the Argus gets delivered to our desk every day because we work for the Argus. Okay. And here at 11 o'clock in the morning, we already see the Argus for the evening. And I go through the adverts because I was really at a crossroads in my life. And I saw an advert for the Western Cape Network on Violence Against Women. And they were looking for an office manager. Okay. And I thought I had no experience, but I want to tell you just a little step back. I was a volunteer for Rape Crisis at the time. So I worked in the corporate. I worked in the corporate, but I started my life in the gender sector as a Rape Crisis volunteer. So I was volunteering in the sector and then working corporate. And so, of course, I was at that crossroads that this job where the money did not fulfill me. I really want to do that full time. And so I applied for the position at the Sarki Bartman Center with the Network on Violence Against Women. I applied for the position, and the then director calls me and she says to me after my interview, and she says, we really want to employ you, but we cannot afford to pay your salary that you are now.
Which is typical of an NGO, you know, non-governmental organization.
Yes. I think things has changed a bit now, Saskemi. But you know, she phoned me and she says, we really want to employ you, but we are aware of the salary you're on and we cannot afford that. And I said to her, well, make me an offer. And at the time, the offer was 1/3 of what I was getting paid in the
Wow.
And I said to her, I will take it. And she said, are you sure? Are you sure you're not going to leave us in a month or two? And I said to her, really, I won't. And I kept my word, because all I wanted to do was, I was tired. I almost felt like the corporate sector was very shallow. There was and the more and more I was in the NPO sector as a volunteer, I wanted to do that full time. I wanted to be a difference and make a difference. I wanted to do this so badly. So when I got this job, and I want to tell you, and I went home and I said to my then husband, I got this job. And he said to me, are you mad? How are we going to live? I said, that's okay. I know we will, you know. And yeah, praise God. So, I mean, we've never lacked. We've never gone to bed hungry. Never,
Previous segment, you shared a lot, you know, in there. And for me, it's just so, what's the word? It's just so overwhelming when you hear, you know, what is still going on in our communities, and with young boy raping a 90-something, or, you know, granny. And I don't know. And it seems to be every day a normal occurrence, you know, this gender-based violence. You know, I don't know what the statistics is in South Africa at the moment. Maybe, you know, even with the statistics, I don't think we want to dwell on that. But what can be done, you know, to find solutions, you know, to this issue, which seems not to be going away, you know, because you hear of, the 93, and it seems it's common. And then you hear of the
a 3-month-old baby or 6 months, I can't remember as well, being raped, or a father hanging his wife, and things like that. And just, there's just so much going on. I don't even know how you do it. That's the truth.
I don't know if you saw the girl that was chopped up by a boyfriend and put in the suitcase at the University of Fort Air. She just happened last weekend, and this was a boyfriend. They had an argument. He murdered her. He chopped her up. He dumped her in a suitcase on the university campus. We had
someone who knows her, someone
who knows her. Yes, but that's what I always say. We always think that women get murdered by strangers. It's not. 7 out of 10 women that is murdered by people that was known to them. The previous weekend before, we had the case in Philippi where the two of them, they're not dating, but they were out for the night. They were socializing the night, and the next morning they found a body raped and murdered by the man that she was out with the night before, In the case of the grandmother, it's the step-great-grandchild that did this to her, Even
a relative. He is a relative.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah. So it's not, sometimes we warn our children, we warn each other about strangers, but it's not the stranger.
Strangers.
It's
so
not.
What's the solution? How can we stop this completely, or even reduce it, where not the 7 out of 10, well, it becomes maybe 2 or 1? What more, can be done?
Sure. Sis Kemi, years ago, we had one of the things, our vision was to eradicate violence against women when I was at the Network on Violence Against Women. And that always stands out for me because, I've been there since 1999. And that was one of the slogans, to eradicate violence against women. And I look at where we're at now, and it's worse. There's an increase. Yes, yeah. So what do we do? How do we do this? Awareness. It starts with me and you. It starts in our home. It starts with how we raise our boy children. It starts
I think that's part of the key. Yeah.
It starts what we say to our girl children. What is so things like that. So if we can start the awareness raising, education, social norms, things like that. That's another whole conversation, Sis Kemi. Yeah. I just want to tell you, one of the things you asked me was about my successes. How do I measure my success? I measure my success when I see women. That was a woman that looked down and out when she was here in my office 4 months ago. And I look at her now, confident, I look at a woman who I helped 2 years ago that is now driving. She said to me she's never driven outside the area. I look at a woman that sends me a WhatsApp and says to me, and it would come on the days when I feel the most tired. She says, "Thank you, Caroline. He was convicted today." 6 years, Sis Kemi, 6 years later, I don't even know who she is anymore. I look at women that has exited very violent relationships. That is our successes. When we see changes, right here in the community, everybody they know me as Auntie Callas, and they say, "Oh, Auntie Callas coming, you better not speak like that to your girlfriend." But it's about, then I know I've raised awareness, I've done something right. It becomes cumbersome and tiring doing this work year in and year out. I'm now 57, God willing, in October. And I always think, at what age am I going to stop? Yeah.
your acting career, how did you go into it? Did you study for it, or or is just something self-taught, or you just decided, and at what age did you decide to do that?
That's a very interesting story. In 1994, I will quote.
Long time ago.
Yes, long time ago. That's the first time I wrote my first play.
Right.
It was a play, and I collected some boys and girls of my age. I was still a teenager back then. I was very young. I won't say how old I was, but I was still a teenager. But I was still very much a teenager. So now I would collect all of them. We'll go to schools. I will go to school and talk to the principal and say, "Principal, can you please come and perform this play that we have here?"
Right.
And then they will pay something like R1 and all that. Little did I know that I was being a producer, a director, and an entrepreneur at the time.
I was just going to say,
yes.
They're asking for the R1.
Exactly. Yeah. And we made a lot of money. I remember in December we had something like 3,000 rand, which was quite a lot. And then that money, I thought, how do I share this money now? Okay, let me just take everybody out. We went out and stayed for 2 days in the beach and had fun and all that.
Right.
But that's when it started. So when I wrote the play, the influence to write the plays, I think I got it from my late English teacher, Mr. Callas. He was a very good teacher. I used to act in Romeo and Juliet. I was a nurse for Juliet.
Oh,
that was
okay.
my
I thought you were
first...
going to say you were Juliet.
No.
So you were a nurse?
I was a nurse for Juliet. That's when my very first acting role.
Right.
And because I was one of those children who would go to competitions for debates and unprepared speech and all that, I think my writing skill was built from that. Though nobody knew, the teachers didn't know what they were doing at the time and how much impact would it have on me. So since 1994 till today.
Wow. So you produce films. Name some of the production you've had.
Let me just quickly mention the very recent one is called The Pandemic. It's busy being The Pandemic is busy being edited now in Nigeria. I was shooting it just a few weeks ago. Yes, recently. There is another one, text message, which is about coronavirus. It won an award last year in Turkey on the film festival.
Wow.
And
text message.
Text message. Yes, it's a film about how COVID-19 affected African women.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And pandemic, what's that about?
The pandemic is also about...
You're right.
Yes, but now on the other angle. Now it's on the family side. You will see the story, you see the film.
Whoa, I can't wait.
How the family has been affected. Where the mother is in South Africa and father and son are in Nigeria, and mother couldn't travel a little time because of Corona, that kind of thing. So
did you produce it
as well? I produced those, I wrote it. Yes, I produce it, I write it, and I'm the main actor.
You're the main actor.
Yes.
You're so talented.
Thank you so much. So yeah, there's another one, Sugar Bliss. There's quite a lot. And I also do act on other people's productions as well. Some people have seen me in some of the films on 161, which are not my own films, but I'm acting on it. But I should have done a lot on this, but because of the teaching on the side as well. So
which is a love for something like that, because I know teachers, the money from teaching is not that great. So you most definitely love that part.
I'm telling you, you know what? In 2014 or 2015, I resigned as a teacher. I said, I'm no longer doing teaching. I left Cape Town, I went to Durban to start something else. From Durban, I went to East London to start something else. But guess what? 2 years later, I was back in Cape Town, in school, in class. Because now there was more a need for these children with special needs. I'm not with those labeled as normal children. I don't want them. Not that they have anything
because it
matters.
Matters.
But now because of the demand and because of the need with these ones with special needs. And I have grown so much love for them. So I'm there, God willing, for some few years. When I achieve what I want to achieve, then I will step back.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Let's talk about the singing part of it. Of your life. What is that? And what are some of the projects that you're working on?
I am proud to say there is a guy. His name is Bubele Kaika, I think. When in 1996,
You're good with dates.
Yes, very, very good.
Very good. I'm
telling you, yes, that's where it comes from. And I'm boring to someone else with this dates thing.
No,
anyway,
I'm fascinated.
In 1996, I started because I was singing in a choir.
Okay.
I would be a lead alto singer in the choir. So I started a choir from my own village, and I collected people who would sing and give them some and teach them the notes, don't tell us over me, that kind of thing. And it was a new thing to them. And I'm so proud that years later, I got a call that one of the guys who I was singing with is now singing and is a gospel artist somewhere with Lusanda Mtinga and so on and so forth. So since then, I've been singing in choirs.
Right.
But then, writing music, I've been writing music for all my life.
Wow.
Though I have never done anything with that music, I still have it. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I would wake up with melody. And if I wake up with melody, I take my phone, even if it's just a few seconds, I record that, I keep it. Or I would wake up with some lyrics. I just wrote those lyrics and then leave them there and keep them. So my first album was in 2016. I did a first album, Native Woman. But I didn't have much time for the singing because I was more into this filmmaking. But this thing keeps on saying, hello, I am here.
You have to get that voice now. This is a blessing. You have to bless other
Please
people
give it out, give it out. So, but then this year I decided, you know what? I'm doing this. And now I have to do it full time. Because it's there. It's always been there. I also have been singing in some for performances, for weddings and all that. With some marimba bands and that kind of thing. So
you have a song that is out?
Yes, I have.
What's it called? And what is it about?
It's called Afrika Yetu.
Afrika
Yetu, meaning our Africa.
Wow.
This song is very close to my heart. I recorded it in Nigeria on purpose.
Right.
And I'm featuring 2 young guys in Nigeria also on purpose. The song is about unity as Africans.
Right.
The song says we must live in unity, we must learn to love one another, we must learn to live in harmony with one another because we are all one.
So what keeps you going?
Thinking of my kids. Thinking of my kids keeps me going, of my 2 boys. I say 2 boys because the one is a very old lady. She told me she's not my child, so it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah, she's not my child, she's my mom, she's my sister. It's fine. Sorry for another day. So the thinking of my 2 boys keep me going every morning. Anything and everything I do, I first think, how will this affect my children?
So how do you juggle being a mother, an actor, a teacher, a motivational speaker, a friend, a partner?
Say the friend.
Yeah, a talent, George. I'm just trying to see all the other ones. So how do you juggle all that?
Planning.
Okay. Planning.
I do a lot of planning. I plan my time. As a result, I know I'm known as a time freak because I know each second counts.
Yeah.
And there are times in my life when I couldn't even have time to myself. But partner-wise, I would be told, sleep. Stop it. I just want to finish. Don't finish it. You can finish it tomorrow.
Wow.
So, but I try, and I have to juggle in between those. Like now, I just came back from Nigeria. Yesterday or Saturday, I was supposed to meet some people. They are friends of mine. I won't say they know where they are and they will be watching this. They know they are unhappy with me because I said, I'm not seeing no one. I'm sleeping the whole day yesterday, which I did not. But at least I was resting. So I have to juggle in between, make time. And it's so sad that some people will feel, I'm no longer a priority to her.
Which is tough in this day and age.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. What you're proud. Maybe share with us a success story of a project maybe you're proud of.
Yes. So I'm very proud of the fact that we have really been successful in collaborating with our partners.
Okay.
So, you know, when I started here, Ilse Martens from MES told me, if we don't get everybody around the table who deals with street people on some level, whether it's the law enforcement, whether it's the Department of Home Affairs, whether it's the clinics for health issues, then we're not going to be able to be successful. So we started a joint operations committee,
Okay.
and all of these role players come around the table. We make sure that we are on the same page, that we don't overlap, that there's no gaps. Now with Corona, for instance, or with COVID, you know, we couldn't meet as often as we used to, but the fact that we had that, you know, that collaboration set
Already,
yeah,
yes.
really helped our area to say, okay, this is the plan for the people living on the streets, and this is how we're going to address it. And although we didn't have access immediately to emergency safe spaces for our people, because we were able to work together, you know, and we worked very much with MES. MES actually took the lead, and we helped.
They're doing a lot of good work as well.
So that is really something for me for this area that I'm very proud of. And the VRCID actually won an international award.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, well, that was quite a few years back. You know, in terms of leadership and creating a holistic environment to address the issues in our area. Because we also belong to the International Downtown Association.
Okay.
There are SIDS all over the world, especially a lot of SIDS in America. And they have this association where we learn from each other. You know, once a year there's a big conference, and then you can also showcase your projects. So we have won that. Last year the VRCID won a security award as well for our security, which, you know, with my boss Derek Bock and our service provider. So we are very proud of the fact that we also get that recognition, and that we can also compete internationally.
Yes, no, very well
you
done.
know, in a sense, yeah.
Very well
yeah.
done. But you spoke there about the fact that there's a lot of seats, for those who are wondering, corridor improvement districts, you know, more or less, around the world. For me, though, because I'm a world citizen, as I call myself, but my country of birth is actually Nigeria. I'm not sure whether we have a similar kind of concept in Nigeria. So are you aware of similar concept in other African countries?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Because I think it's a concept that maybe the likes of VRCID could, you know, that is scalable, you know, in other parts of Africa, because the social issues are similar in most parts of Africa. And you know, South Africa being, you know, one of the giants in Africa, can do that. But maybe we'll have more conversation actually on that.
Yeah, I think some countries might have it, but in a less
in a
structured
different
way.
Yes.
In the Western Cape, we have a bylaw that actually guides us. You know?
Right. Okay.
So for instance, in Gauteng, there's also SIDS, but their bylaws are not the same.
Different.
You know,
from,
so it differs.
Everybody can do whatever, but the
Yeah.
bottom line is, you know, having the same goal and vision.
It's actually
you know,
the community in the area taking responsibility. In South Africa, we have communities filling up potholes on their own because the government is not doing it.
anything.
So that is part of what a SID does, but in that case, it's
But we
more
support from the business
informal,
owners as well.
Yeah, and it's the community members taking responsibility. I think that is, you know, that you can create a little SID anywhere, in a sense.
Well done, and congratulations on all the awards and, you know, the collaboration work, like you said. And I find it interesting that you've focused on a method rather than a project.
Yes.
You know, when you're saying, well, our success is the fact that we collaborate, you know, with others, rather than saying, oh, one of our successes X, you know. So Well done. I'm sure, though, that you do have challenges, you know, that you face, you know, within your work. And especially with COVID, you know, like you know, 19, like you've mentioned, that has had a lot of negative impacts, you know, across everywhere, from businesses to NGOs to individuals. So what are some of the challenges, you know, that either you or through your organization, you know, that you experience through your work, and how do you manage to tackle it?
I think our main challenge is, and I think that is everybody's challenge probably, is we don't have enough money. So funding, especially for social projects, because you know, if you give me, let's say there's a pothole to be filled, you give me money, I go and buy the cement and I fill the pothole and it's sorted. But with social problems, it's not like that. No. We have intergenerational poverty issues in South Africa. We have people that struggles with unemployment, with they don't have skills. Now we also have the situation with Corona that even if you have skills, you're going to struggle to find work.
Right.
So I think our main challenge is for people to understand the psychology behind people living on the street. Many people feel it's bad people. It's people that's not interested in developing. You know, they just want to sit there. They're too lazy to work. That is not true. So the perception of people living on the street is one of our main challenges. And then also to get the community to work with us, in the sense that we motivate people to give responsibly, or to give in such a way that we don't enable people, but we don't enable them to stay on the streets, but we actually give in such a way that they can be lifted off the streets. You know? So our struggle is, for instance, when people stand and beg at the traffic light, all of us want to give because we feel sorry for that person.
But
often
really
by giving them money, we're just giving him, you know. But if we give him like a food voucher, like we do with Mess, they have food vouchers, and we tell him, go to Mess, you will get food there, but we know if he gets there, there's also going to be some social workers helping him. So we, you know, so we are trying to teach the community not to be not caring, because you can say, oh, you know, I don't worry about anyone, but to say engage with the person, rather work with us and fund organizations that
are already doing that and have got the experience.
Pick him up and take him to the place. Now, these safety issues, obviously. Obviously, we do get criminals hiding as street people. So you have to discern as well, and so that is why we say, you know, just try to give in a responsible way. Yeah, so that is basically, and then of course we never will have enough hands to do all the work. But working in the sector is really because the people that stick to the sector really has a passion for it. So it's always wonderful to work with passionate people.
Yeah. I know I always go wow because I always feel wow, you know, with the way, you know, some of these amazing women and men as well, you know, that we interview.
just give so much of themselves to the cause that they support, to their community. Kudos, to you, my dear sisters. I salute you, Caroline. I salute you, BlackQueen. I salute you, Wilma. Well done. And thank you for raising, the flag and keeping on, with your input in terms of what you're doing within the community and helping to break the bias and your little bit, in terms of what you're doing, which is a big bit, trust me, with improving gender equality and getting the voice, of women out there. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well, this is all we've got time for. We will be sharing the details of the various organizations, Callas Project, the autism NGO that BlackQueen runs, and as well the VRCID contact details at the end. Support as best as you can. Just find out, what you can do to support. And Women's Day really is every day. I know, yes, in South Africa we celebrate it twice a year, the international one for the month of March, and in August for the local one for South Africa. But we'll continue to keep talking, we'll continue to try and get our voice heard. We'll continue to make sure, things are done that will benefit our girl child, at the end of the day. And we'll never give up, trying. And thank you to our E for She men, as we call them, who keep supporting, empowering women within their organization, their business, in their community, and in various forms. We salute you, we honor you, and God will keep blessing you as you continue to bless others. Till next time on Impact Africa, this is me, Mama K, signing off saying, stay safe, stay blessed. God is love, love you all, and Viva to our women. 2022 theme, let's keep breaking the bias.